morning. Yesterday I went to bed. As you saw, I felt quite well. Now it feels worse. I've got a sore throat and my eyes do hurt a bit and my lungs are burning slightly. Yeah. As you saw, it's 4:20 a.m. and this is a bit similar to what I've read about this. In the first wave you get sick, and when you feel like it's over, there's a second wave that is worse than the first one. Let's see how this day will be going. Day 3. Why do people take pills when they are sick? Just take a shower and you're fine. Just kidding. Another thing I started to watch every day is the numbers of infections in my hometown. Well, at the moment it is at this point 1,670. This morning I noticed that the quality I'm capturing this video with is now it's at HD, and I was capturing all my footage at 4K before. So that's the reason why I was wondering that I don't have too much time left to film. So I'll be filming in HD from now on. Today I want to get back to something that I've been neglecting the last week since Christmas practically, and that's playing the piano. I didn't practice because I didn't have the time and motivation and stuff. A huge disadvantage when living in a flat like mine is that you can hear everybody and everybody can hear you. So I have to play the piano in the kitchen and use headphones. But this is just the first step. The next step is dampening the piano and disconnecting it from the ground. So, as you can see, there are two kinds of floors. We've got the wooden floor, you hear that, and we've got the concrete floor. Yeah, and even the noise of the keys I'm playing on the piano can be heard up to the other flats. So I'm playing on concrete, no one will hear me. I put the piano on towels, so even the keys won't cause a noise that someone can hear. So I'm able to play the piano. This might be even the reason why I'm not practicing too much. set up like that for a few days until it gets on my nerves that the piano is always in the kitchen and I have to shove it around. This is my worm box. This is where I put all my organic waste and tea bags, mostly. One thing I like to do way too often is cleaning the dishes and afterwards messing up the kitchen. This will be a good example because I'm planning to make some bread. Time to mess it up again. This is rye, whole grain, ordinary flour. This, now come on. Salt. To mix it a bit. The water shouldn't get too hot, but that's okay. I almost forgot. It's the only reason why I have this. In Germany, you put it on almost everything. This will now be covered in a bit of oil to keep the dough from drying out too much. And in the next step, cover it with a fresh towel and put it in a warm place. That place is usually close to the radiator. If you've never made bread yourself, just do it. My idea is that even our ancestors didn't have some kind of recipe on how to make bread, and even they got it to work after maybe a few failures. And today it's so easy to get access to some recipe on how to make bread, and it's really easy. So just give it a try, it's fun, and tastes great. I usually let the dough rest for about 45 minutes. I'll just have a look and see if the dough has increased in volume. It's time to water the plants in my bathroom. First I've got 2 spider plants. The pots have become very light, which means there's no water left. And this is a Pelargonium citrosum, also known as the mosquito plant, and I really love the smell of it. Smells like lemon. Yeah, and the pot is very lightweight, so it will need some water. 45 minutes later. Well, I think I'll be leaving this for a bit more. I really don't know how long that was in the end. I think it was about 1.5 hours or something like that. But the dough has risen a bit. It didn't get as high as it was supposed to get, but I think it will be fine. That looks good. Now I have to knead the dough a second time. while the dough is resting, we can do an unboxing. This package was brought to me by my brother. He picked it up for me, put it at my front door, rang the bell and actually ran away. Charger and this here. As you already saw, I sometimes like to play computer games. I usually don't play that much, but in the last weeks or months I began playing a bit more some games where it would be better to have some kind of a server. We thought about renting a server, but it seemed to be cheaper just to buy a simple small PC that doesn't take too much power and just use that as a server. The first thing I notice is this only has a VGA port. I will have to look if I can find some kind of adapter or the right cable. Yes, everyone has that. Ah, there we go. At least the VGA cable. I feel a bit like a little kid on Christmas. Even though I got my first computer at the age of 4, I still don't know if I could use these cables to access the internet via Ethernet. We know the first thing to do. We all know the only reason why Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge exists is to download another browser like Opera, Firefox or Google Chrome, whatever you like to use. With only a few minutes left, I want to start the oven. 250 degrees. So, oven should be hot. Put some flour on it. Even though it will have cuts by itself, as you can see in these places, but I still add another cut over here. It is often said that you should add a bowl of water, so I always did that. I will let this stay at 250 degrees for 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes. You could already see that something happened. Now we're turning back to, I'd say, around 180. I forgot this little line. There's quite some progress, and I can smell it through my whole flat. I covered the bread with aluminium foil just to keep it from browning too much. And here we go. Looks great. Covering this again. So, this is quite soft, which is pretty unusual actually. And I was wondering, well, it sounds hollow, which means that it should be okay. And it's still warm even after all this time. I left this to sit for maybe around half an hour and it's still warm. I like to use a very sharp and large knife, and usually you would wait until it has cooled down completely, but I'm too impatient and I always want to try it when it's warm, because when it's warm it has the best taste. There we go. This is also very special. I usually don't eat bread just with butter on it, but this is the only kind of bread you should try with only butter on it. Tastes great. I've done this several times and I'm always proud that the result tastes so good. I never had a bread that tasted bad, but every bread tasted different. Some had a more hard crust. This one is especially soft. Never had one like this before, but it's perfect. I've been trying to get the server running for, I guess it's hours now, and it simply doesn't work. I don't know why. I played with every port, the firewall, and it still doesn't work. Another method of getting rid of these problems can just be to stop trying. I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing I did in the last hours would just simply work on the next day. So I'll give it a try. And I just realized I forgot my plants.